Welcome everybody to day one of developing AI agents. This isn't a tutorial course. This is just me rambling on about my learnings with AI agents. So I've been a programmer for, a couple of years right now, 30 plus. And I never really do anything with my programming. This is more of a hobby. I definitely don't ever make money with it. But the reason why you would want to develop AI agents is for intellectual interest, or more importantly, maybe you want to be the first AI company that creates, a one-person AI company that creates $1 billion valuation. That would be super nice. For me personally, I will be lucky if I even get 100 YouTube subscribers, not to mention, there's definitely no hope. I don't actually see any hope of creating $1 billion company. But anyway, this is just me wanting to share my experiences with developing AI. And here is kind of what the tutorial has taught me so far. So everything is done in Python, obviously. If we just close these windows, over on this side, we have the basic structure. So you have to create a folder, multi-tool agent, and then it has 3 files: your typical init file, which is an import statement, and then your environment variables. And yes, I will blur out my API key so that you guys don't steal it and rack up my usage. And then we have the typical agent file, which is basically this right here. So you declare an agent, and you give it a name, and then whatever model you want to use it. So this is just any large language model. And then, that's basically it. You give a description. So like, this agent is to answer questions about the time and weather in a city. And then you give a set of instructions. If you don't know what instructions are, if you haven't developed AI agents, but you've used like the Google Gemini AI or API, you'll have something called system instructions, where it's like you make the large language model act a certain way or behave a certain way. That's all this is. So it just says you are a helpful agent who can answer questions about the time and weather in a city. And then we have these things and then we have up here is a couple of functions. However, we don't call them functions anymore because we're highly sophisticated AI workers. We now call them tools. So we have 2 tools. One is to get the weather, and one is to get the time. And basically when you run this, it comes over and it creates, I'll just run it, ADK web. It might take a little bit to start up, but anyway, if you look at the get weather, basically it's just a if statement, because obviously this is the very introductory tutorial, so it doesn't actually do anything, special. It just says, if this is this, then return a success message and report the weather as this static thing. It doesn't actually connect to, again, it's just a tutorial. But I suppose if somebody will probably use this to, get themselves a $250,000 a year job, I'm sure that will happen. But but anyway, yes, the only input that we can put in is New York. And let me open up this to show you guys what it looks like. This is the introduction agent development kit. We have a thing here. We can type a message, something like hello, and it goes to the LLM and it brings back some information. It says, hey, which city would you like? And again, our only input here, actually, let me say, I'll just say LA. And it says, oh, sorry, we can't give you that information, blah, blah, blah. The only valid input is New York. You type in New York, and it says, do you want, I said, yes, both, please. Because it says, do you want to the current time or the current weather? And then it goes through and it says, get the weather, it gets the time, and then check. And basically what this does is, first thing it does is it calls this get weather function, which is right here. And then it says, if city, which is our input that we put in up here, if city is equal to New York. And this is using the LLM. It's using the Google Gemini LLM to make that determination, because obviously this is a conversation and it's not a direct one-to-one input. So it uses large language models to understand the context of the conversation. And then you can also use voice input, but this model particularly doesn't. The Gemini 2.0 Flash model doesn't have support for your microphone, but there are other models that you can use to enable a microphone. Anyway, it basically just gets the weather, gets the time, checks the values, and yeah, that's about it. And then you can see how long each call took, and really check out the events, everything that happened. And this is like the parts. So this is the weather time agent. So this is our agent. It called the get weather function, and it called the get time function. And then it said, okay, this is, it returns this. It returns the this part here is, where is it? Right here. It's the same thing. So this is what was returned, and it just shows you the information. Anyway, I'm sure you're bored by now, and I'm sure you left. And yeah, that's basically day one of what you learn when developing AI agents. I know there's a tremendous amount of hype around this type of stuff, and I don't really know what I'm going to do with it yet. Hopefully develop enough skills to make some money so that I don't become homeless one day, which is definitely the trajectory that I'm currently on. But we will see how it goes. Day two is going to be going through this page here, which is, once I'm done this video, this is what I'm going to be working on next. Yeah, anyway, if you're interested in following along the journey of me both learning how to make YouTube videos and learning how to develop AI agents, then yeah, like, subscribe, and all that other good stuff. Thanks. See you on the next one.